Hi, this is Sabrina from A Space to Create Art, and today we're going to talk about observational drawing and contour line.
Okay, so let's just talk a little bit about contour line. Contour line is the edges of an object that you see. So on this shell, it's the scalloped edge, it's the lines that come across the top of the shell, and this little thing that hangs off the end of the shell. So when you're drawing contour line, what you want to do is you want to look at the object, and what you want to do is you don't want to like think about it too hard. I like to just start, like I'm going to start over here. What I'm seeing and what you're going to see on the video are two different things, because you're looking basically down on the shell from over here and I'm looking at the shell from over here, which always makes it a little bit complicated. But I'm going to go ahead and draw. And you want to draw super light on your contour lines. So I'm just getting the basic shape of my shell in. And then if I'm watching, I'm looking over here. And the thing about this is you want to look, this sounds counterintuitive, but you want to look at the object even more than you're looking at your paper, okay? And it takes a while, but you get the hang of it after a little bit. And if I'm looking at it, I see that this edge of the shell looks like it comes over, it overlaps this piece of my shell, okay? And then I'm going to draw in this little flange. It comes over and it goes like that. And then these lines that come across the top are super important. And as they get closer to the end of the shell, they get closer together. And those are all things that are going to help the eye see the dimension of the object. Okay, so you create the illusion of 3 dimensions with more than just value. You also create it with contour line. Okay, so that's the basic shape of my shell. Now, when you go back in, you want to start adding value. It's going to become even more 3-dimensional. So if I'm looking at my shell, the darkest part is over here, where it meets this. And the trick is that you want to try to keep looking at the shell more than you're looking at your paper. Keep your edges light, and there's a shadow under here. But it's not a big shadow, it's just a little shadow. Around there. I am not going to add as much value as you guys will, because I'm going to do this quickly, and you guys are going to have a lot more time to work on it. So, but I just want to give you the basic feeling of what I'm doing here. So very little of this shell is actually white. It all has a little bit of value to it. Where these come over the top, there is actually a shadow in between. So I'm going to go ahead and start creating that shadow. So even though you start with your contour line drawing, when you add your value, you're going to see even more than you saw for that. So I see that edge. Here. And again, I'm using the edge of my pencil. The funny thing is sometimes like the simplest shells are actually harder to draw, and what seems like the harder shells would be easier. So don't pick a shell just because you think it's easy to draw. Pick a shell that you want to draw. And it's always going to come out better. Now remember, you can come back in and use your eraser as a tool. Okay, so that's the basics, and as I add more and more value, then I'm going to come back in and I'm going to add in more of that detail that I see on my shell. But that's the basic of contour lines.
Have fun drawing. This is Sabrina from A Space to Create Art.